You said you had some one words for us today.
So going to the NFL, there were some interesting performances. It was a strange weekend for the NFL. So I'm going to give you a game, give you some stats, the outcome of the game, and I want you to give me one word about maybe what stood out to you about this game. Just one word that comes to mind, all right?
Okay, let's go for it.
So going back to Tampa, I gave you my impression of that. Comeback win, 38-31 over the Colts. Uncle Lenny, 3 rushing touchdowns and 1 receiving touchdown. One word.
Monster. That's what we expected him coming to the league, was going to be a monster like that. And he just ate. He's the only reason why my fantasy team looked halfway decent this week, and I still took an L with his 4 touchdowns. Still took an L. But, hey, Uncle Lenny, man, when he has his moments, he's a beast. And against that Colts defense, that's what made it even more impressive
they're a
to
good
me.
defense.
They are a very solid defense. I didn't expect them to even allow him to get, because they haven't been able to get Leonard Fournette going as much as they've wanted to. But he's going to probably hit 1,000 yards this season.
I think he will. And he looks, when I watched portions of this game, he looked fresh. Because I know there have been some games where they didn't really use him like a workhorse, but he just looked fresh. He looked like, there were shades of like Earl Campbell in there, but he just looked phenomenal. He looked like one of the top 5 running backs in the NFL, and he still has that level of talent and that ability, and he's still pretty young, I think, for a running back. He's not yet hit that hill that all running backs hit, but he was fantastic. And you know what? Brady is not exactly what we're used to seeing from him. He's been good. He's been solid, but it's going to take some other guys stepping up in order to help make up for that. Because, I mean, come on, he is 44. Yep. We know at some point it has to happen, and I think a healthy dose of Uncle Lenny is what's going to propel them into probably a 1-2 seed. I think we'll see.
Yeah, he's got 621 yards this year, so I think that he can hit 1,000. I think he can.
All right. Up next, Ravens 16-0 over the Browns. Baker 18-37, 247, 1 touchdown. The Ravens were great against the run. Then you had Lamar, 165 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions, and they still won the game. One word on the Ravens.
Stank. They stank. That was just a nasty game. I tried to watch. I watched the whole game, but I struggled. It was a bad game. Yes. It just was. It was just overall bad game. Both quarterbacks didn't look like they were focused. Lamar throwing passes to guys that weren't there. He's seeing ghosts for some weird reason and throwing interceptions. I mean, 2 of them were tipped, I get, but one of them, the other 2, he threw directly to the defender. You want it? Is yours. But it was he didn't look both ways. Like, the placement of the ball was where it's supposed to be, but the defender's not supposed to be there. And if he looked, you would have known that a defender was there too. Yeah. So, yeah, it stank.
And do you think, like, with this performance from Baker, I know he's dealing with a lot of injuries. There's a lot of criticism that he's faced this season. Some people have said that he doesn't have much support as far as the players. It sucked to see him perform this way, because he was 18-37, so that's not even 50% completion, and he hangs his hat on being accurate like that. So he's really hurt. Probably shouldn't have even played in this game. They should have played Case Keenum, let him get to the bye, let him get healthy, then bring him back, see what he can do, because he's playing himself out of millions of dollars. The Cleveland Browns cannot pay for this.
No, they can't. They cannot. And Kareem Hunt's dad said the exact same thing. If you hurt, you need to stop playing.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
Everybody's calling him out now at this point. It's like, dog, you're not helping. I mean, I know that Case Keenum ain't good, but he's better than what you're doing right now.
Right.
Just let him hand the ball and you just run the ball. Let them put 10 in the box and you just run the ball nonstop. And then throw a lob. Just throw a lob every once in a while. Yeah. That's it.
All right, up next, Packers 36-28 over the Rams. Aaron Rodgers 28-45, 307, 3 total touchdowns. Matthew Stafford 21-38. 302, 3 touchdowns, but 1 pick six. Rams had 3 total turnovers. One word on the Packers-Rams game.
Musty. That's how
musty.
That's how the Rams looked. They were clean cut, walking in there, suit, tie, didn't put on deodorant. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Oh, it's us. It's Rams. Yep.
Dank. Just musty. And look, so, we talked about this pre-production. My boy Boise Z hit me up and he was talking about your boy Matthew Stafford. He's been trying to get me on the Stafford train, that he's elite, that he should be considered elite. And I keep reminding him that Stafford's been in the league for 13 years
Something
now?
like that. Yeah, he's old.
Why are we still trying to make this a thing? Why are we still trying to make Matthew Stafford more than what he actually is? Him and Kirk Cousins are literally the Spider-Man meme. The way they play every single week, it just doesn't make any sense. So they look bad. The defense has been giving up a lot of yards, even though efficiency-wise, DVOA-wise, they're still rated high. They putting out. But at the same time, when your quarterback's throwing pick sixes, which he's thrown 3 straight, he's thrown a pick six in the last 3 games.
Yes, he has.
That's not a good thing. And he's making me look bad on my MVP. But I did say this, and I'm going to continue to reiterate this every time we talk about him. The Rams will go and win the Super Bowl based upon Matthew Stafford and Matthew Stafford only. That's it. It's going to be on Matthew Stafford. And right now, he is playing them out of a Super Bowl.
So it's like you can take Matthew Stafford out of Detroit, but you can't take Detroit out of Matthew Stafford.
No, you can't take Matthew Stafford out of Matthew Stafford. Is what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like I would think that having Sean McVay there, an offensive genius, the way that he is, to help balance you out, would have made him so much better. Because at this point, McVay doesn't have to be the quarterback as well as the head coach and the offensive coordinator. His quarterback can do his own thing. But letting Stafford do his own thing is kind of becoming a problem. That's where the issue comes in, is he's looking really bad. He's playing poor.
Yeah, I don't want to admit this. This is very difficult for me to say because of how I feel about this particular player, more so off the field. I mean, I've been able to get past this with certain players like Draymond Green. I may not necessarily like you off the court, but I love what you do on the court. Aaron Rodgers and this Packers team, my God, they are fantastic.
They just figure it out.
Jesus Christ.
They figure it out every week.
They figure it out every week. And this game, 36-28, it was not that close.
Oh, no.
There were portions where they looked like they were toying with this team. And you were right that having a defense with 2 top 5 players in Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, it teaches you something about defense.
And Von Miller's playing.
It teaches you something about defense. You can have 3 guys like that are that fantastic, but it's almost as though you can structure an offense to where they're a non-factor as opposed to a defense with like 7 or 8 players who are good. Because when you think about the best defenses that we've seen in the NFL, it wasn't because of 2 or 3 players. They had maybe 2 or 3 players that were definitely great or Hall of Fame level, but when you look across the entire defense, it's just guys all over the place that can get it done.
Everywhere. Yeah, but they have that kind of...
Outside of those top 3, I mean, the players are pretty decent. Well, then something's happening because teams are putting up points on this team. When I watch them on television, there's no fear whatsoever from that team or from what I'm seeing. Like when I used to watch, and I always go back to this as the best defensive I've ever seen, 2002 Buccaneers, just watching them on television, I was afraid for the team playing against them.
Yeah.
And I know that is rare for a defense to be that good, but it's because they had really good players everywhere. It wasn't just 2 or 3.
They've lost 3 straight games, 28, 31, 36 of the points that they gave up. It's just 3 straight weeks. They're just putting out.
I mean, maybe Aaron Donald is hurt or Jalen Ramsey's hurt and they're not saying anything, is not getting out.
And then they lost to the Cardinals. Cardinals were 37 on them. But their 4 losses were bad. And they're not able to score in those games. Like 16 versus the Titans, 10 versus the 49ers, 28 versus the Packers. Like you say, wasn't as close. They scored those basically at the end. Yeah. And then 20 against the Cardinals. I don't know what is going on with them, but yeah, this is not a good team.
All right, last one. My God. Bengals over the Steelers 41-10. Joe Burrow, 20-24, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 190 yards. Ben Roethlisberger, 24-41, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, including a pick 6. Joe Mixon dominated, 165 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Looked every bit as good as Leonard Fournette in this game.
Looking like the Sooner that he is.
Yeah, exactly. So, one word to describe this particular game.
Cooked. Ben Roethlisberger's cooked.
Done. He's
stick a fork in him, folks.
Finished.
He's done.
And it's getting to the point. You ever see like you could be like outside, like when you were growing up, like shooting around with your buddies, playing football, whatever it is, and then there's some older gentleman in the neighborhood who gets out there with you and starts playing around, and you can tell that they look so old that you're worried about them getting hurt. That's exactly like. But you can't tell them to leave because it's like, they're your elders.
They're elders. Yeah. You got to be respectful, right?
Watching Ben Roethlisberger, I'm just like, oh, my God, he's going to get hurt. Please retire him right now.
Ask him to go away.
Yeah, we'll pay you. Just chill out. sit down. He's got to see this. He's got to know this. Tomlin has to see this. They cannot bring him back next year. Like, this is getting embarrassing. Not just the score, but watching him just attempt to drop back and throw the ball. Like, he was once a really good quarterback, maybe even a great quarterback. You got your rings, you got your passing yards. Get out of the game.
Yeah, he needs to go. It's just, you're at the point. I mean, you kept toying around with the team anyway about leaving and staying and all of that. Mm-hmm. Pittsburgh, just go ahead and give him his papers. Do him the same way that Green Bay did Aaron Rodgers. Go find the guy that you really want. Get him, put him on the bench, or just say, Ben, I'm sorry, we're done. Because this relationship has gone way too long. Only one side is benefiting from it, and you're just accepting all of this abuse. Why are you doing this to yourself, Pittsburgh?
And speaking of Aaron Rodgers, one of the things that we had heard kind of throughout the season is that this would potentially be a landing spot for Aaron Rodgers I've heard that. But no, here's the thing though, with how Aaron Rodgers and this Packers team is playing, it's almost like Aaron Rodgers, despite all the crap that happened with Gutekunst and all that, why would you want to leave this? Because there's something special about this team. I know it's like they've 4 straight NFC championships. They've been right there.
The cuffs,
right? And in the NFC,
they had like 11 injuries over like the last 2 weeks.
They lost people,
like
lost people left and right, and just perform every single week. Aaron Rodgers doesn't practice, goes out there and makes it look like practice.
Yeah.
So if Pittsburgh if the fans are hanging their hat on potentially getting him, you might need to look elsewhere, because with the way the Packers team is playing and that they might actually be the best team in the NFC right now, he may not leave. So then what are you going to do? You cannot bring him back, Ben Roethlisberger. You cannot.
Just let Ben go. Just ask him to leave now. Just go right now. I'm sorry. You got to go. Do it. Do it.
Do it.
Do it. Do it.